on a 2-minute time frame, you got this perfect order block, right? And so I just set my limit on that order block because I believed, you know, I had justification for the narrative, I had justification, you know, I had a liquidity target and a high time frame PD array target as well, right? Yes, YouTube fam, I hope you guys are doing good. I'm trusting that you've had a good week this week. You know, whatever you've been doing this week, I'm trusting that, you know, you've made some good progress. For me, I'm gonna be real, it's been an up and down week for me, man. Like, this is the reality of trading though. I told you guys that, you know, I'm gonna bring the realness when it comes to trading. And it's been an interesting one. I'm gonna get into the trade breakdown, the GU short-term scalp that I took last week. But for this week, I started the week so well. I ended last week really well, started this week so well with a great trade that I'm gonna break down for you guys soon as well on another video. But then I took 3 losses in a row. I'm still up for the week because typically my risk to reward is usually pretty solid, but I took 3 losses in a row. And if I'm honest, at least two out of the 3 were avoidable. And I'm looking at my trading rules, and I can see where I had made mistakes. I'm just being honest. But you know, making mistakes in trading, you're gonna have to leave room for human error, and that's why having decent risk to reward is so important. Like for me, for example, I don't trade less than 1 to 4, 1 to 5. If it's a 1 to 3 I see and it's a really good setup, then you know, I'll probably take it if it's easy money. But if I'm honest, I like 1 to 4, I like 1 to 5's minimum if I'm honest. And then, you know, if I'm going for higher RR, then great. But 1 to 5's are the setups I like to see. But you know, this is the reality of trading. You can start the week well, and you can finish it poorly. And this is why you should never ever get too comfortable. You can never ever get too confident in your trading edge and your trading ability, because the market will humble you so quickly, right? And I know I'm not there yet. I'm miles away from being where I want to be, but I'm making progress week after week. But you know, just make sure that as you go forward, guys, like, you know, you just continuously work on your edge, continuously develop yourself, continuously become a better trader. Do what you need to do to become a better trader. Put the work in day after day, because you know, that's the only way we can improve. And I know for me now, it's like I know my prime setup, my solid setups, the A-star setups. But I'm still taking some setups where when I look back on my journal and look back at the trade, I'm like, I missed that key element right there. And I think part of that is where I am trading while having a full-time job. I think that does make it a bit tricky, because sometimes I'm having to make quick decisions because I need to get to a meeting or get somewhere, and I'm quickly on my phone trying to set a limit or market execute at a certain point. So I'm not doing maybe the due diligence needed before I get into a trade. And I have to accept that that's part of it. When you've got a job and you're trading, especially when you're an intraday trader, is there going to be times when, you know, you're going to make mistakes because you're rushing? And it's like, I factor that in. I don't beat myself up about it too much. And I guess that's just part of the journey, right? But at the same time, now it's like, I need to get to the point where I'm taking less losses. I need to get to the point where I'm you know, my win percentage is higher, and that will mean that once I'm trading, you know, massive account sizes, it's going to hurt a lot more when, you know, when you're giving money back to the market that you really didn't need to give back to them, or give back to it, should I say. So that's where I'm at right now. You know, I think I'm knuckling down on trying to take less losses. And that basically means trying to filter out the trades that aren't great setups, that aren't as highly probable, so that I can have a higher win rate, even if my risk to reward is still solid. But hey, what can I say? Progress is progress, and I'm pleased with the way things are going. All you can do is do your best to put the work in day after day, and you know, you will see progress. You will see progress. If you're making 1% incremental progress day after day, then, you know, after a long time, you find yourself 100% better. So keep at it, man. I'm going to keep at it. Hope you guys keep at it as well. But now I'm going to get into the trade breakdown. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys learn something from this. Let me get straight into it. I'm going to break down what I was seeing. It's a trade that I took on the go. I was actually traveling to work when I saw the setup, and I executed it while I was traveling. But it worked out, so yeah, all good. Let me start with a 4 hour to break down exactly what I was seeing. So if I just hide my drawings for now. So you can see, as we know, that GBPUSD heavily bearish right now, pretty much all time frames, right? So I was looking for ideally a buy up. Once I saw these relatively equal lows being swept by these big candle here. So once I saw this candle on a 4 hour, and then once it was engulfed, in my head, I believe that was now a bullish order block, right? Because it's swept, and the response is that the next candle completely engulfed the bearish candle. So I was like, okay, cool. It looks like we're gonna keep going higher to, and we tapped into this imbalance and fair value gap a little bit already, but we could keep going higher and maybe take out this liquidity, maybe start a bullish run up to tap into up here, and maybe even up here higher, to fill in this gap, or maybe even go even higher and take out this liquidity up here. Who knows, right? We'll just play what price gives us and take it from there. But at this time, I saw the sweep on the 4 hour. I saw that we had, rallied up, and we tapped into the 50% of this fair value gap, or 50% of this imbalance, and we began to retrace, right? So this is the 4 hour, as you can see, as I explained. If I remove the drawings, right, you can see here, look, I've got the sweep, I've got the order block, I've got the, and the rally up, right? So if I go down to the 1 hour, what I'm gonna do is hide my drawings again. Basically, at the time of the trade, so my execution was up here, right? Up here in this zone here. But at the time, I knew that any short-term sell that I took wasn't going to be a long-term hold, mainly because of, like I said, this order block on the 4 hour. But I did see that we had an imbalance here that needed filling. And as you can see, it came down and it didn't actually come to fill it. But at the time, this wasn't filled, right? So I knew that I had a sell side target to aim for. So that's what I was aiming for when I was looking at the 1 hour. If I put the drawings back on, you can see how I've got my sell side target. On the right hand side, I've put H1 imbalance fill within H4 order block, right? So yeah, the H4 order block here, and then within that, I had it on the H1, I had a H1 imbalance fill, which I wanted to target, right? So that's the 1 hour. If I jump down to the 15-minute now, you can see there isn't much on the 15-minute, if I'm honest, that I was looking at, because I was mainly working this off of the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then the 5 and the 1. So the 15-minute, you can see here though that there's a massive push down. It swept this liquidity here, and then even on the 15-minute, we had a market structure shift here. So in my eyes, then we were bullish, right? So we were just creeping back down. We were just retracing to then find a buy move to the upside, right? So I wanted to catch some of that retracement down, and that's exactly what I did. So if I go back down to the 5-minute now, this way things get a little bit more clearer, right? So target wise already, you've got my H1 imbalance fill within the H4 order block. And then on the 5-minute, what you can see is here you've got the reaction from the imbalance that was filled. You see that there's a shift here in market structure, or breaking market structure. And then what you can see during the Asian session on the 8th, what you've got here is a sweep, right? You've got a sweep followed by an aggressive push down, leaving a fair value gap behind. And this looked like it was going to be an order block. Throughout Asia, you've got the trendline liquidity. So you've got liquidity that is engineered. I will always talk about liquidity because it's one of the most important aspects when it comes to trading the way that I trade. And then you've got the order block here that I mentioned, and it taps into it, right? Another thing to notice is that you've got the London kill zone. So I've marked out, 7 a.m., which is the UK time, 7 a.m. BST to 10 a.m. BST. It's the London kill zone. And these are the hours during the London session, which I like to execute trades. If I go down to the 2-minute, this is when it gets really clear, right? So you can see this is a real intraday move. Some people might even call it a scalp potentially. I don't know. Who cares, right? One knows that it's an intraday move, right? And now I'm going to go into more detail now in regards to what I was seeing and why I executed the trade. As you can see, I executed right here. I'm actually going to hide this for a second so that we can talk further, right? So You can see for our Asia session, around 1 a.m. UK time, which would be around, let's say 8 p.m. New York time. You can see there was a sweep here of this short-term high and then an aggressive push down, right? We're not looking for trades during the Asia session. I only trade between, London. I only trade in London kill zone and New York kill zone. It's the only times I'm looking for execution of trades. But you can see that it's clear liquidity that was engineered throughout Asia session. Asia session often just is liquidity, right? It engineers liquidity throughout that session. And then you can see here, before the London session even starts, you see you've got an order block here, and you've got the fair value gap just below it, right? And you can see as soon as London session opens at 7 a.m, we tap into that order block. And it's what's actually interesting is how, the bodies of these candles respect the order block, and they don't even go into the body of the order block. They, it's just a wick. It wicks into it a couple times before shifting and causing a break of structure and market structure shift, right? So, I've got my narrative, right? My narrative is that, we're bullish on the high time frame. When I say high time frame, probably like maybe on the 1 hour. We've made that market structure shift on the 15-minute. So on the 15-minute, 1 hour, and probably 4 hour because of the 4 hour order block that I mentioned, it's like we're shifting to bullish. We've not got that confirmed yet, right? But that was my narrative in my head. But I knew that on the short term, on the smaller time frames, I had a sell side target. I had this sell side liquidity down here. I had the 1 hour imbalance fill within the 4 hour order block that I wanted to target. At this point, it was almost 8 a.m. At this point, I hadn't hit my target. And once, before it hit the target, I knew that if it didn't, before it came down here, if I could get an entry, then that would be absolutely amazing, right? And it did. So what I was seeing was we had the order block. It tapped into this order block up here that gave the sweep, right? And then what happened was we had a market structure shift. So once you had a market structure shift and the break of structure and the aggressive push down with the, the fair value gap that was created afterwards, I was like, okay, so where can I actually enter? Where can I get the trade to target this sell side liquidity and fill this imbalance on the H1? Straight away, right, you can see that on this 2-minute order block, and on a 2-minute time frame, you've got this, let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, on a 2-minute time frame, you've got this perfect order block, right? And so I just set my limit on that order block because I believed, I had a justification for the narrative, a justification, I had a liquidity target and a high time frame PD array target as well, right? I'll talk about PD arrays on another day, but if you follow ITT's concepts, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So I set a limit. I actually set my limit here, at the bottom of this wick, at the low of this order block. It's clear I could have got a better R&R, risk to reward, if I entered on the body of this 2-minute candle, right? But it is what it is. So it comes back up around 5 to 8 a.m. It taps into the order block a couple times. It hangs around a little bit, if I'm honest. Gave me a little bit of a scare because I was thinking, maybe I've got this one wrong. But no, it respected it. It hung around for a bit and then it tumbled. And after that, if I'm honest, it didn't give me much resistance. It just kept falling, creating lower highs and lower lows. And then met my target, right? So if I am to unhide my short position, my actual R&R was probably around, I think it was 1 to 5 in total, 1 to 4.1 to 5 ish. I took a lot of my position off at about 1 to 3.3 once we hit this sell side liquidity, but then I took the remainder at about 1 to 5. On this occasion, I could have actually got a better R&R if I entered here, but I didn't, right? It is what it is. I just wanted to make sure that I was in the trade, hence why I entered here. But this was one that I've journaled, and maybe next time I'll enter a bit higher. But there you have it. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, because this trade was a clean, amazing intraday move for London session and London kill zone. So yeah, all is good. Great. So hopefully you guys learned something from that trade breakdown. It was very, very clean price action. When it presented, I can't lie, my eyes lit up because I was like, this is just so clean, I had to take it and see how it goes. So great trade breakdown. Watch it back over and over if you need to, learn why I took the trade. If you need to understand why I took the trade and why I targeted where I targeted, definitely watch it back, take notes if necessary. But hopefully you got value from it. Don't forget, hit subscribe, hit like, and share with your friends. All right, God bless. Speak soon. Have an amazing week.